Cancer sun, I feel what you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to your soul, I read the unseen. 8th house mind, 12th house dreams. Tarot in my hands, planets in my sight. I decode the dark, turn shadow to light.
Hello, it is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. My water bottle is right here in the screen. Anyway, welcome if you are listening to this via podcast or if you're watching this via video, which is on YouTube, streaming on Twitch, X, Facebook. I'm everywhere, okay? And wherever you can listen to a podcast, definitely Spotify and Amazon. This week, astrology is all about getting honest. We have Venus opposing Pluto. Currently, you should be feeling this. We'll talk about that a little bit more. That's going to be exposing some power dynamics in our relationships, female friendships, female relationships, maybe with your finances, maybe with your self-worth or your harmony. Chiron is going to be entering Taurus, and this is a interesting aspect because this is something we haven't had in years, but we will be beginning the healing journey of self-worth. I talked about that earlier, but also finances and money. We'll talk about how this will affect the economy and the collective. Now the sun will enter Cancer. Happy solar return to all of my Cancers. I am a Cancer sun, so we have to give it up to them. They are so magical, okay? So we have the sun entering Cancer. It's going to shift our focus towards home, family, emotional well-being. If you've been feeling pressure to let go of old patterns, if you want to reset too, this is a great time to do it because we're also going to talk about the summer solstice, okay? Here's our timeline. Let's get into it, people. June 17th, Venus is going to oppose Pluto. Pluto is retrograding in the sign Aquarius. On the 19th, Chiron will enter Taurus. We're going to talk about the aspects, how it's going to feel personally and for the collective. And then lastly, we have the sun entering Cancer. And I'll talk about that. This happens every year. I will tell you who's going to benefit from the sun entering Cancer, who doesn't like the sun in Cancer, and the same with Chiron, okay? But first, we are going to talk about the 17th year. And this is Monday, and I'm filming this live June 15th. Oh, before I even start, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Share this video. Give me some love. Show me some flowers, okay? It is free. Now, when I say this, I know it comes in one ear out the other, but let's do something different this time. Let's actually thumbs up this video because 1, you love astrology. 2, I have some accurate information. 3, not only do you love astrology, but you love the psychology of astrology. You love predictions. You like to know what is going to happen. Why are people cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Okay. All that and more. So you need to thumbs up this video because it's free and it doesn't hurt. What does it hurt you? Okay, so there's that. And also, too, I want to talk about my private community. I have a private community. I have a lot of tea in there. I'm more into conspiracy theories more than ever, and I like to break them down. I can't talk about that in the public, as we know, because Pluto is in Aquarius, even though it's retrograding. Okay, but Pluto's in Aquarius, and when you have Pluto in Aquarius, that takes away freedom of speech. Okay, and it'll get powerful. Power will be happening for the people, but as that's happening, we are secretly, the collective, doing things behind a paywall, so then no one can tell us what not to say. I have a lot of conspiracy theorists that I follow on Patreon too, and I find it so interesting. I think I'm going to dabble more into celebrities and do some readings on celebrities and put that behind the paywall too. But I definitely do politicians. I've done Kanye West. I've done governors, mayors, the judge. Anyway, NASA, okay, Elon Musk. Okay, I've done it more. Also, too, if you're not into the conspiracy theories, I'll also talk about other things that we kind of don't talk about here because you can't really say, I feel like you can't really tell the truth. Okay, I'm being Really honest. So I talk about more about Neptune and Aries and what that looks like for the collective or individually you, and things that I cannot say on here, I say more on there. You know who I should look up? Ariana Grande. I might do a TikTok on that, and sometimes that's just a shorter form YouTube video, but long enough to go on TikTok because of her ED. Apparently, see, you can't even say what ED represents. All that is behind the paywall. Other things that I do, it's great stuff on there. I have things about Mercury retrograding, the eclipse, other like tools. A lot of readings are already on there too. Okay. Now let's get into what we are here for now. And so now this is live and it is Monday, June 15th. Here, I want you to know that the sun is in Cancer. I woke up very moody today. That's because the sun is in Cancer. A lot of moodiness. Happy 1 second, annoyed the other second. Whatever. It is what it is. But really fixed up my home. So there's that. Now on the second, on June 16th, we still have the moon in Cancer, but it will be sitting close to Mercury and Jupiter in Cancer. So the emotions, the people, maybe the people will be in the news because the moon represents a collective people. There is that, but also represents the emotions. Sometimes when it's getting closer, the emotions are not being able to be vocalized very clearly because it's sitting in combust. But basically, if you don't know astrology, sometimes you can't voice what you are feeling. That will be happening. But as it gets closer, there could be an awareness of what you're feeling and you're able to say your feelings together, especially in a very positive way with Jupiter sitting there, or maybe over talking at home. That could be happening as well. Okay. So that is what you have on the 15th and the 17th, because I just didn't see other aspects besides the moon. And then the moon also enters Venus, Leo. And when the moon enters Leo, then we have the energy of a lot of leadership, a lot of conflict, maybe even some conflict with your friends or your harmony or your balance, maybe being very creative as at home, maybe being on stage at home as well. But Venus represents the party, having a party at home, but it's very grandiose, darling. Okay. A lot of conflict here. That's negative side, but the other side is bravery. Okay. And wearing your heart on the sleeve, as you do have that. Now, this same day on the 17th, while the moon is sitting there, adding some emotions and sensitivities to things and moodiness, you also have Venus at the same time opposing Pluto. We've already been feeling this, okay? This is Venus opposing Pluto asks, are you choosing from love or from fear? What truly means when you are not trying to manipulate, when you're not trying to control, when you're not trying to be obsessive? Are you trying to change your female friendship? Because this also represents that. And there is a conflict from yourself. Do you want to be selfish as a friend, as a female friend? Like think about yourself and being your true self? Or do you want to think about the collective? Because Aquarius represents a collective. Venus also represents love, relationships, money. I always need to check to make sure. Yeah, okay, I am. That I'm in the screen. Anyway, but Venus represents relationships, love, money. It represents our values, our self-worth. It represents being lazy and comfortable. Okay. Pluto on the other side here, it represents power. It represents control, obsession, transformation, hidden motives, endings, and rebirth. It also is very intense. Whatever it touches, it brings intensity. So there could be some intensity with some female friendships. Okay. Now, personally, this is an ugly transformation. This represents a change, especially in female friendships. This could be a friendship that is secret or obsessive and you're not seeing eye to eye. Feelings of jealousy, maybe maybe opposite attract kind of energy. But passive aggressive, very manipulative, love of power. This could be love, but then it's very taboo and it can't see eye to eye. Hidden love, passionate entanglement. There is a friendship here, but it's a controlling friendship. You get emotional about it here. Very malicious, strong with sexuality as well. This energy is very sexual, and sign Aquarius is sexual in thought. It's sexual with technology and AI, and there's some disharmony here because there's an opposition here. This is major relationship struggles. I'm telling you, already been feeling this. Maybe there's an issue with your self-worth and you feel like you're being tested. Maybe this is a financial transformation. Venus does represent the money, okay? And this one loves to have power over money. Money themes may emerge around debt that you owe, investments, shared resources, spending habits, financial control. There's something there, okay? There is something, not something there, but there's something that it can't see eye to eye. There's an opposition. It's like a seesaw. You need to find a balance between the two, okay? Leo versus Aquarius, far as collective, mundane astrology. Leo represents the self. Aquarius represents the people, the collective. There is issues or concerns around leadership. It makes me think of... this is exactly it. This makes me think of Trump had a kickboxing fight in front of the White House. My son told me this. I wasn't really listening because when it comes to sports, I kind of don't listen. This kind of represents that, like having that fight, but maybe the people don't care. And I'm not saying that the people don't care, but this could represent that, right? This represents the people. This represents a change or a transformation. Or maybe there's some type of balance here that's not balancing quite right. I didn't watch it. Let's see, it could have messed up while streaming kind of thing. Or maybe the fighters couldn't say what they wanted to say. Something like that, right? But this is also celebrity culture kind of energy. This also represents social movements, power to the people. Aquarius also always represents the boycott, public influence, and power structures. Okay, so there could be some kind of drama. Leo represents the drama, okay, with celebrities or a public figure or some type of entertainer, maybe even a child influencer. Now, Pluto also represents the investigation. So this is investigating the leadership and finding that there is no support there as well. Let's see, strong Leo placements. You will be feeling this, or you have already, especially if it's around the beginning degrees. Also, too, there's something with finances here, because this could represent anything dealing with wealth and finances, corporate power, wealth, and equality, because it represents being equal and fairness and justice. That Venus energy, financial manipulation. This wants to manipulate here, especially when it comes to the future. A very stuck, very stubborn energy as well. Okay, so Leos, you are feeling this the strongest because it is in your sign. Aquarius, you always been feeling this. Pluto in Aquarius is, sitting there, but it's early Aquarius, and there is an opposition, maybe even to your beauty and aesthetics affecting you as well. Taurus and Scorpios, you are feeling this in a negative light. You don't like this, okay? This is very fixed energy. May experience square-like tension, adjustments, challenges. That could be happening, but it has to be in an early degree. Overall themes: jealousy, possessiveness, obsession, manipulation, financial control, ego battles, okay? Or just maybe a change in relationship. There could be some honesty. There is a huge transformation or rebirth happening. So go ahead and take it, okay? Take advantage. And don't be afraid to have deep conversations, not the superficial, because Pluto likes to be very deep. Now, let's talk about... That was actually very mild, but we've been feeling that, okay? Let's talk about Chiron entering Taurus. If you see here, Chiron here is at 29 degrees in Aries. There is an urgency to shut things down as far as the healing of the self, or being a leader, or being an entrepreneur, or starting something new, being brave and impulsive, okay? Now, with Chiron entering Taurus... let me see. I'm putting down my notes. Chiron moves much slower, okay? And it is, Chiron moves much slower than the personal planets and much faster than Pluto. On an average, Chiron spends 4 to 9 years in each sign, depending on the orbit and if it retrogrades, how often it retrogrades. Chiron entering Taurus begins years-long journey of healing in relationships with security, money, finances, our self-worth, survival, tangible things. Okay, because Taurus is all about tangible things. Bank systems, stability. Get ready for that. Chiron entering Taurus begins a collective journey with our money, with our security, with our self-worth, with our stability. Very protective, very stubborn, doesn't like change. The healing with traditions, things that are very traditional as well. Now, in Chiron in Aries, it's all about healing the self. It's all about your identity, your independence, healing your body, having courage, having some confidence. Now that energy is going to change to a very slow paced. And not only that, because Aries is very fast, so like healing with being fast too, but also with something new. Right? Taurus doesn't like anything new. It likes things to be very traditional. It likes things that are very stable. It likes finances. It likes resources. It likes trust. And it really likes to heal the self worth and personal values. So we, as a collective, but individually, there is going to be a lot of themes of healing your relationship with your money. Okay? What you value, your resources. Am I financially secure? Do I believe I deserve abundance? What are my financial fears? Okay. Self-worth also becomes more important because when you are lacking in the resources, you start to take care of what you really value. You pay attention to what you truly value, right? So your value doesn't come from what you produce. Your value doesn't come from what others think of you. Your value doesn't come from what you own. The healing journey becomes learning your worth from within. So a lot of that, who's excited about that? Raise your, I'm excited about that. Okay. So security is also going to be redefined while Chiron's in Taurus. There will be some job changes. There will be relationships changing. There will be things that are very tangible, the homeland, the earth, that stuff. Healing through herbs, that will be bigger. I really love herbology. Okay. I always fall into that hole of TikTok every time. So a lot of that true security comes from adaptability rather than control. But with Taurus, it doesn't really want to be adaptable. It wants to stick with traditional things. So get ready for going back to the traditions. What are the traditions of things? That could be going home, or what did your grandmother do? What did your, instead of listening to this doctor who uses AI. I'm just using examples, okay? Scarcity mindset. That will be a more healing kind of thing, like not having enough, losing money, survival, stability, your farmland, your tangible land, physical things that you own, that hoarding kind of energy. That would be healing, healing the body through physical wellness, natural healing, touching the earth, going out and being in the sun and being with leaves and talking to the trees, a lot of nutrition, slowing down, reconnecting with the body. All that is going to happen personally. Now, collectively, Taurus rules money, it rules the banking system, it rules agriculture, resources, and wealth. Chiron entering in Taurus is going to expose a lot of weaknesses in economic systems. Again, the housing costs and finances and what we deem as valuable, tangible, that will start to change. Okay. Resource distribution. If you thought the tariffs were big, Chiron's in Taurus, so there's going to be some healing in that. Chiron doesn't just represent healing, it also represents the victim. So a lot of people will be feeling like they are the victim within these things. A lot of people feel like they are the victim when it was in Aries with their body and their physical body, are people being impulsive or people moving fast. There was a lot of victim energy with that. Now there will be some victim energy with resources and the distribution of resources, food supply, land, natural resources, wealth and inequality. How wealth won't be balanced. Okay. Nature and being what is it called when you are eco-friendly? There's another word for it. I can't think of it, but Taurus is deeply connected to the earth. So environmental, sustaining environmental energy, farming, food production, natural resources. Are the plug up cards really good for nature? Is AI really good for nature? Those things will be stronger than ever. Get ready for that, okay? So again, to wrap it up, we are going to be talking about healing, not talking about working on unconsciously, because God has put this energy in the sky and we don't even have to plan to work on it. Someone is going to walk up to us one day and say, you know what? Or just something's going to fall in your lap. Symbolically or physically, okay? And there's going to be healing on the self-worth, your money, your financial security, your stability, what you value, your physical body, the earth, treating your land better, working with nature, yes, and trusting things, and just tangible items and resources, and finding beauty in that too. Are you being lazy? Taurus energy likes to be super lazy. It really likes to touch all of the senses. So like what you see, what you smell, healing yourself through smell, healing yourself through sight, healing yourself through feeling. All that will be happening when Chiron's in Taurus. And then also too, on a mundane collective astrology, a lot of healing with the banking systems, with inflation, affording your tangible things like housing, or your physical health, food supply, natural resources, agriculture, and the economy. Now, who's going to be feeling the most? A lot of people who are going to get the most healing, right, are the Tauruses. Chiron in Taurus is all about you, right? So you're going to be feeling the most energy. Scorpios, there is some tension here. Relationships and trust issues may be highlighted here. A lot of healing through that. All of you guys will be feeling it because Chiron will be moving in Taurus eventually, okay? But these are over the years. Leo, of course, is going to be affecting you because it's all about you all the time, right? But if you have Leo placements, there's some healing with that. So let's say you have a Leo in Mercury and Chiron starts to touch that. Well, there's going to be a challenge in how you talk, or you being on stage, or you thinking selfishly all about you, right? There's going to be some healing with that. And it's going to be very stubborn and doesn't want to change when I address all these people. In Aquarius, lastly, this is going to be affecting you in a big way, in a negative way. There is going to be some challenges there, but the negative turns into positive if you just learn the lesson and you do the healing, right? But Aquarius might be more involving your home, your security, and your stability. Just get ready for that. Who is this going to work well with, right? All my earth signs. Okay, Virgos, you are going to have a field day. You're going to be healing the most. Okay, so all my Virgo placements, best for you. Capricorn placements, best for you. I have no earth in my natal chart, but Chiron and Taurus did affect everyone. It moves in different planets. I should do the rising signs quickly. Let me do them now. Okay, so should I start from the beginning? Let's start from the beginning. So I won't forget. I have to look it up on here or I will skip someone. Okay. So Chiron in Taurus. Where's my Chiron in Taurus is of course Aries. Aries risings. This is going to affect a lot of healing when it comes to your finances, your self-worth, everything that I already said. Anytime you hear the predictions in my videos, or mostly anyone, you kind of don't need to look up. When they do the general predictions, you don't really need to look up your rising sign because it is in the house of what it relates to, okay? But everything that I said earlier, Aries, this is going to affect you with your finances, what you deem valuable. Could be some healing of the voice too, the throat. All my Tauruses, this is your physical body. There's going to be healing with that. How people see you, how they view you. There is some healing and maybe very traditional healing, or maybe using herbs or natural resources for you. Now, all of my Gemini placements, Chiron and Taurus, is going to be some healing when it comes to solitude, spirituality, some closures, some endings. That will be some healing for you. Now, all of my Cancer risings and Cancer placements. This is going to be healing through friendships, through network, through your future, your hopes and dreams, and technology, believe it or not. It's very traditional, but yet there's something futuristic happening through tradition. That would be some value healing for you. Now, all of my Leo placements, the healings are going to be happening with you socially and your social image. Not socially. That was more Gemini's, but more Cancers. This is going to be more your self-image. I was saying socially. Your self-image and you at work, your career, okay? You on a public stage. There's some healing there. You might be playing victim as well. All of the placements could be playing victim. And Virgos, this is going to be some healing when it comes to traveling, higher education, your philosophy, thinking bigger, expanding, even producing more, the World Wide Web. there's some healing with that. And then we have Libra placements. There's going to be strong healing, transformation, rebirth. This could also be a death. There's a healing when someone dies. There is a transformation happening. There's some healing with things dealing that are very taboo. You're talking about the trash man, the prostitute, the tarot reader. Things that seem taboo with society. There could be some healing there for you. Also, too, shared resources. Things that you like taxes and loans or your spouse's money. That as well. Now, Scorpios, this is in the opposition of yourself, and it's really about your partner. Okay. Now, if you want to say there's some healing with your partner will be having some healing at the same time or maybe you will get healing through your partner, or you will have some healing when things are fair and justice, maybe through court. That also went with the 9th house placements too. But through court and harmony, you get some healing when you are being creative. And Sagittarius risings, that's me. We are going to get some healing with the physical body. Hence why I'm excited about herbs and being an herbalist. Not myself, but healing everyone through herbs. But the physical body, your day-to-day routines, maybe even healing with the pet, getting some healing with the pet as well. 5th house placements. This is really Capricorn placements. Now, Capricorn risings. Healing through your children, fertility, being a grandparent, being a mother, being a father. There's some healing there. Really having your true self-expression. There will be some healing there. Really being bold, really being creative, really having fun, like childlike fun. You're going to find a lot of healing through that. And Aquarius risings, there's going to be healing at home, healing with your past, healing through your mother, healing with anything where you feel safe and security, but your physical home as well. And then also, Pisces, save the best for last. I always say that. There is healing with you when you are communicating, when you are starting to learn something from the beginning, like early education. There's healing with your community, your siblings, and driving. There's some healing there too. Transportation. All right. So that is what we have. Fear of loss, of financial anxiety, resistance to change, materialism. That is what we have for a nutshell. Oh, I didn't even talk about, I ran on a tangent about the rising signs and horoscopes. Let's talk about the placements, the transits that we're going to see here. And let me turn this to days. Now, when Chiron first enters Aries, immediately it's going to... let me see what I have in here. Oh, immediately it's going to have a square with Pluto. Now, Pluto represents transformation, intensity. It represents rebirth. It represents obsession and power. Okay. In the sign Aquarius, it represents technology, AI, society, innovation, social change, revolution, collective power. Okay, Chiron is all about the money, resources, security, self-worth, food, housing, banking, resources, stability. And when you have these things not getting along, okay, the future not getting along with traditions, wealth distribution, the banking system, the economy having some anxiety. Pluto likes to expose some power there. So Chiron is going to expose the wounds, okay? So there's going to be strong energy with not having resources and someone controlling the resources and it almost makes me think of how like they talk about China and how China, like you have to rub your hand to get your money, you have to have a credit score. That kind of thing is what you get. Class divides, division, resource distribution, economic fairness, access to wealth, financial power, technology replacing traditional systems, food disruptions, transformation, or being advanced with food, like lab grown food kind of energy. AI and is challenging what you value and what you traditional things. Okay. Self-worth crisis. Am I valuable because of who I am? Am I valuable for the future? Am I valuable with the collective? Am I valuable if I don't have freedom of speech? All these things are going to be coming up. Traditional values versus future values. That's going to be an issue. Resource battles. A lot of resources when it comes to the air, navigation, flying, airplanes. That's going to be causing challenges when it comes to healing. Yeah, land, energy, natural resources, a new definition of security, the ultimate lesson. For decades, security may have looked like a stable job, owning a house, having predictable income, just stability. And Taurus loves stability, right? And Pluto in Aquarius asks, what does security look like when the world is changing? So get ready for that. That is what we have with this alone. When Chiron enters Taurus, we have that alone with that energy, right? Now, Chiron also is going to square this energy here. Wait, no. Sextile. Why do I have it square? Oh, when Jupiter enters Leo. That's going to be June 30th. When Jupiter enters Leo, June 30th, then Jupiter in Leo, Jupiter is expansive. It's all about growth. In Leo, it's all about, look at me, recognition and confidence and leadership. I want more. I want to grow. I want to be seen. I want to be successful. Children, more children. And there's healing here. And it's not getting along with that energy. Jupiter is very positive, though. It's a great benefic. But when it's not positive, it expands that. So, sticking to traditional things and something with children is going to be a big thing, okay? Also, too, can you receive the blessing? Let me see. Jupiter in Leo likes to get on stage. It likes to start the business. It likes to launch. Is very passionate. Cancer, Chiron wants you to slow it down. Okay, blessings triggering insecurities, visibility versus what you value. Again, the economy, leadership versus the banks and the economy, arrogance masking insecurity, overspending, validation addiction, comparing yourself to others, feeling undeserving of success, chasing an applause instead of having purpose. Okay, now Chiron, we're still talking about Chiron. Chiron is going to have an opposition when Venus enters Scorpio. When Venus enters Scorpio, that's going to be in September. And this is going to be some old wounds or feeling like a victim when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to trust issues, attachment patterns, financial healing, self-worth lessons. Get ready for that. On the 18th of September, Chiron will be retrograding and then it will go back into Aries. And that is what we are currently feeling now. So working on your identity, your courage, your independence, your leadership, and your self-confidence. And then it comes back into Taurus April 2027. We'll talk about it again when it happens in 2027. But again, we will have the themes of everything that I talked about. Okay, so that is what we have for. Actually, let me pull some cards. Ooh. We got a few cards, okay? Chiron entering Taurus. What it's going to do? It's going to start a new journey for a lot of people. Pack light. Do not bring your insecurities. You got to stand strong. You got to persevere. That's very Taurus. Be stuck. Be fixed, okay? A lot of issues with entrapment and imprisonment and addiction. Aquarius themes here, okay? Working for the people. Thinking of the future. Save your coins. Work on your finances. It's not hoarding, but saving, okay? Use your intuition, practice love, work on the details, work on perfecting your craft, your self-value. Watch out because people are deceitful. They're lying. They're being sneaky. Well, you don't like the way they lie. You don't like the way you're fighting. You don't like the words that's being said. A lot of opportunities with relationships and your intuition and new opportunities with finances, okay? That is what we have with Chiron entering Taurus. And now let's talk about the summer solstice, shall we? Let me drink some water first. I don't have a lot of water in here. So just a little tiny sip. Okay. Let's talk about summer solstice. Let me get the chart up here. And let's talk about what we see here. First of all, do you guys know what summer solstice is? Summer solstice, first of all, there's spring equinox. That's spring season starts. That's when autumn equinox is when fall season starts. Winter solstice is when winter season starts. And summer solstice is when summer season starts. And that is when sun enters Cancer, okay? The longest day of the year is summer solstice, hence why it's Father's Day, because the sun represents the father, if you didn't know that. But it is the longest day of the year with the sun. The sun reaches its highest point. It marks the official beginning of summer. This is a time for a reset. Okay. If you are not happy how you were for your New Year's resolution, guess what? You can start over. When the day the sun enters Cancer, start over, okay? A lot of ancient cultures celebrate the summer solstice. It's associated with abundance. It's a great time for reflection so you can know what you messed up on, what you need to work on. Nature is at its peak. This is when the plants are thriving, crops are growing, and the earth is bursting with life. A lot of people are outside and connecting with loved ones and sticking to what makes you feel safe. Okay, the days begin getting shorter after summer solstice actually starts, which is so funny. But the sun enters Cancer, and let's talk about some astrology themes. Even though summer solstice is all about astrology, now that the light has revealed everything, what will you do about it? The summer solstice acts like a comic reset. It is a checkpoint where you can reassess all the Neptune in Aries, Saturn in Aries, everyone's doing a reset, okay? But this is when you can reset what has grown and what has not grown. Also, too, it's a great time for doing some inner healing, that inner child healing. And what's been growing will be visible during the summer solstice energy, okay? June 21st is when we enter the summer solstice. And I have the exact chart here. And I want to talk about what it's going to look like while we are in summer, the whole season in summer, okay? So get ready, all right? First of all, the sun in Cancer, it is going to sextile Chiron, which I talked about all that. So this is really good if you want to work on your finances, if you want to work on your self-worth and your resources. It's going to connect with your ego, your family, your home, your emotional safety, your ancestry, your past, your nurturing, things that were from the past. You can heal and you can start to feel safe if you felt unsafe. That's really good. The energy's out there, but you have to work on it because that's what a sextile represents, okay? So over the summer, many people will be aware of their past. Juneteenth is a big deal for me. So that's just an example of you like learning about your past and it helping your ego, your vitality, your drive, okay? That's just one example, but it's not just have to be that. But you could be working on your physical home as well. Now, also too, I noticed during the summer solstice, this whole summer, there is going to be a lot of talking, a lot of broadcasting, a lot of news. Get ready, big conversations, family growth, about your homeland, about your family, emotional intelligence, important announcements. A lot of discussions about mothers and family and children and the things of the past and memory. Cancer remembers. This feels like the summer where people will be revisiting their past in order to know their future. It makes me think of Sankofa, the bird. Since Jupiter amplifies Mercury, information is going to spread. And it's not going to be very direct because Cancer energy likes to move sideways. So things move sideways when discussing things. But both of these things makes me think of books. It makes me think of writing. It makes me think of journalism. It makes me think of the World Wide Web. It makes me think of podcasters, Substack, X, all of it. Okay? Now, the sun, this is the one that's a big doozy here, is going to square Neptune in Aries. Okay? Now, again, the sun represents leadership. It represents your consciousness. Trump also too. Any type of leader, father figure, identity, vitality, and the focus for the collective. Neptune is all about dreams, illusions, spirituality, escapism, confusion, and inspiration. Neptune's in Aries. Aries rules something new. It represents the identity, individual, action, independence, leadership, courage. Cancer, again, the home, the past, your family, your security, your emotional needs. I said the past. But yes, a lot of insecurities here. Know that, okay? Let me see. What else I also noticed is that this is very interesting because when you have these two squaring, that means a lot of confusion lost in the sauce during the summer, okay? A lot of spirituality being lost too. A lot of people not being compassionate, really focused on the self and the ego, not focused on others, or a new charity, if you're starting that, may not be the best during summer solstice. Now, it's trining though, the North Node in Pisces. This is great. This is a water trine. I love water trines. It's all about the feels, okay? Both signs are deeply emotional, intuitive, and spiritually receptive. So while the ego is lost in Neptune, it trining the North Node means that the direction will be there. God is going to just put you in your right path this summer, okay? You can't see the road because Neptune's over there making you lost in the sauce. However, God is putting you in your divine path. Visibility is limited. You're still on a road. You just simply can't see the miles ahead. It's almost like when you're driving in the rain. Have you guys done that? Driven in the rain and it's pouring raining and you can only see directly in front of you. You can't see what's way ahead. It's kind of like that. The North Node says move forward, what feels to be aligned. Neptune is going to make you question that. You may not see the 5-year plan. Just know that what you're doing is sending you on the right path, and God's going to keep trying to direct you to your right path. You don't need to, just keep moving toward what feels aligned, okay? Neptune's going to make you feel questioning of that, though. I just want you to understand that because it's touching the sun, and the sun likes to highlight and give you like the flashlight to things. And Neptune adds a little darkness to that, too, okay? The sun represents our consciousness. Neptune blurs that. It dissolves it. It's very spiritual. It's also very deceitful. It's uncertainty about the future, confusion, disillusionment of leaders, unrealistic expectations, emotional projection, idealism, competing with reality is what you get with that. Do I follow what feels safe or do I feel inspired? I don't know if I feel inspired kind of energy. And God's like, just keep going to your path, okay? Uncertainty about direction, intuition could be an issue here. And Neptune kind of softens the ego too. So be ready. Your dreams may confuse you. Signs that are coming your way may be throwing you off, but there's still this spiritual alignment here. So I just want you to understand that there is a sense of not seeing it, but there is a feeling that you may feel it, okay? Squares forces action, and this is the square, and it's forcing you to act, okay? And there's going to be action towards the ego or a leader or something new or drugs, okay? Neptune often removes that veil as well. Now, also, too, what I see is really good is that the moon, which is the ruler of the sun, every time we have summer solstice, and that moon is sextile the sun. So this makes things feeling great. You're going to be feeling positive. You're being very practical, analytical, all about organization and your health and service to others. And there's discernment here. So that's very positive. It's sextile Mercury and Jupiter, so it's going to really be voicing it and discussing it and higher education and beginning education. That all works really well, okay? So that is what we have for the summer solstice. Just know that there's going to be some confusion this summer when you're trying to do a reset. But God has everything in its direct path for you in your alignment. So, for example, if someone just comes to you and say, have you ever tried jump roping? And you're like, oh, I never. No, I don't jump rope. And let's just say the next day you get an email. You just happen to say, let me check my email. Or you're in the elevator and someone says, oh my gosh, I found this jump rope. Is this yours? And you're like, that is like God putting you in alignment. Like, first I whispered it to you, gave you a little hint, like, what are you talking about? And then I handed you a physical tool, which is the jump rope, which is very tangible with that Chiron there, tool there. And now you have the jump rope. And now I'm going to have someone call you and give you a free class about jump roping. That is that alignment. But you are confused. You are lost. You cannot see it. Maybe there is falsity. Someone says jump roping is bad for you. But for some reason, God keeps handing you a jump rope. That kind of energy, okay? Let's do, let me see. Do I have, yeah, okay. I talked about everything about Chiron. I want you to understand, summer solstice, happening for summer solstice, we have a lot of passion that's coming our way. A lot of passion, okay? People are going to feel inspired during summer solstice. There's a lot of passion. What can we do with that Neptune? You're going to be feeling a little lost. You're going to be feeling hurt in the words that you say. So be careful with that. But other than that, there's a lot of passion. God is giving you new inspiration, new drive, new creativity. Yeah, I find that to be very positive during summer solstice. Okay, let's talk about the sun in Cancer. And this is what we close it out with. Sun enters Cancer June 21st. What are all my Cancers doing for their birthday? Let me know. I'm excited, okay? Again, this marks summer solstice, which we talked about, and I told you what that looks like for summer. But personally, there's a lot of themes on home, family, emotional awareness, protecting what matters. Look at your moms. Talk to your moms. What are your dreams saying? What is the water? Big water too, like a lake, a river. Family protection, emotional security, caring for loved ones, healing from the past. Your intuition gets stronger. Your emotional intelligence gets stronger. Your spiritual awareness gets stronger, okay? Now, collectively, there's going to be huge themes. The sun is highlighting huge themes about our nation, our homeland, our national identity, public safety, homeland security, home security. Housing market is going to be big. Rent, property, own, family, living situations, huge. Family policies, parenting, education, caregiving, all that. Family support, that gets bigger. And feeling like you're not in scarcity. Also, who's going to be feeling the most when the sun is in Cancer? Of course, all my Cancer signs. Cancer rising, Cancer moon, Cancer sun, Mercury in Cancer. All of you guys are going to be feeling it. It's going to be a personal new year for you guys, right? Scorpio placements, great for you, right? Your intuition, you're being very supported with the water energy. Pisces, emotional growth, a lot of opportunities, very positive for you. Now, my Aries, Libras, and Capricorns, there is going to be an experience challenge every time it's Cancer season, okay? There's an adjustments, there's a rebalance that needs to be happening. You need to listen to your intuition. Something's moving like water. It's not moving direct, and it's making it very moody, okay? The shadow side when we enter Cancer season is, again, moodiness, oversensitivity, living in the past, emotional decision making, clinging, not looking forward, just constantly looking back, holding on, fear, anxiety with the fear, emotions, just all the emotions, okay? But we get higher intelligence, stronger family bonds, inner healing, creativity, creating stability, and building a life that feels like home, okay? Let me just quickly talk about what the sun is going to be doing while it's in Cancer. The sun, immediately while it hits Cancer, is going to be affected by this energy here. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, summer solstice. Okay, I'm like, why do we talk about this here? So like I said, once the sun enters Cancer, I already said this earlier with summer solstice, it's going to be squaring Neptune. Again, Cancer wants to feel emotionally secure. Neptune is going to make that confusion very confusing. You're not going to be feeling emotional secure. There's self-deception, addiction, dissolving feelings about the self, lack of purpose, lack of direction, psychic inflation, escapism, drugs, confusion, mixed messages, unrealistic expectations, okay? Get ready for that once the sun enters Cancer, once it's summer solstice, okay? Then, as we keep moving, the sun, again, is trining the North Node. There's positive energy there, divine timing, being guided towards your next chapter, trusting your intuition, following what feels aligned. Now, June 24th, the sun is going to start to have a wide trine with Neptune. And this makes things very fearful. It also makes things very pessimistic, okay? Rigid structures, negative confidence, habitual self-denial, feeling like a slave with your ego, with your drive. A lot of reality checks, a lot of limitations and boundaries and delays, lack of accountability or awareness to you not being accountable or you not thinking long term. This is karma coming to bite that ego, okay? So that happens. June 25th, we have the sun the sun has a quincunx with Pluto. And that makes things a little bit awkward and uncomfortable, especially with Pluto in Aquarius, right? Something may need to change, power dynamics, letting go of control. This is major power issues, major power struggles. The father and obsession, reality adjustments, shifting priorities, what worked before may not work now kind of energy. But just know that something's going to be uncomfortable, especially when it comes to freedom of speech or the future or AI. Get ready for that at home. June 29th, we have a full moon in Capricorn that is going to affect the sun in Cancer. Cancer is all about the home. Capricorn is all about work. So there's an opposition there. Work-life balance, family obligations, career decisions, accountability, results, and consequences. What is working, what needs to change. Then June 30th, Jupiter will enter Leo. When Jupiter enters Leo, then the sun will be the ruler of Jupiter. So whatever the sun is doing is going to be in charge of Jupiter. And if the sun's in Cancer, it's going to make things moody. But Jupiter will be here for a year. So when it enters each sign, that will be affecting our Jupiter. Okay, so once it enters Leo, it will be very moody and sensitive. And we're talking about our leaderships. Okay, July 6th, the sun begins a wide conjunction with Mercury. Mercury will be retrograding in Cancer too in July, so get ready for that. But Mercury retrograding asks us to revisit the past. The sun is going to shine a light on what needs to pay attention. Family matters, again, home, memories, all that. Now, the closer the sun gets to Mercury, things are going to be not working as well, like thought process, details, driving. Be aware of that. But there's a full Kazemi July 12th, and there's going to be clarity that day or some type of announcement in regards to homes or some breakthroughs, some understanding, some answers, some important conversation or new perspective. July 14th is when we will have a new moon in Cancer. And again, that's a fresh start when it comes to themes of home, family, emotional healing, security, your intuition, your dreams, your mom. Okay. And then this July 23rd is when the sun will enter Leo. Once it enters Leo, it will conjunct Jupiter in Leo. Venus won't be there, but these two will be conjunct. And that's going to be some big energy here. Expansion, success, confidence, visibility. You're getting fat. A leader getting fat of some sort. But overall, during Cancer season, you want to trust your intuition. You want to honor your feelings. You want to build a strong foundation. You want to prepare to shine. While the sun is in Cancer, it's going to, I told you it works for all my water signs. It doesn't work for my cardinal signs. Let me pull some cards here for you guys. While the sun is in Cancer, we have a lot of lacking, a lot of coldness, a lot of, we are dealing with Saturn. Feeling like you don't have the resources and negativity. Very lack energy. Ooh, we have this card. I haven't seen this card in a minute when I've been doing my readings. But we have the Ten of Machetes. This is the end of a journey and the start of a new. This is also feeling like someone is physically stabbing you in the back, or with their words, they're stabbing you in your back. And we do have Jupiter and Mercury. And then remember, I told you the sun's moving close to Mercury, and you kind of can't, it's not working. But a lot of backstabbing with words or secrets or emails or text messages kind of thing. But do know that this is going to be lifted. This is the beginning of the end. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to start a new journey. Whenever, I have a book here. Let's see what this book says. 10 of Swords. I should do this every time, like pull a random book, because I have so many books on 10 of Swords. Let's see what we have here. Exaggerated self-pity. Feeling life is against you. Playing the victim. Cutting through illusions. There could be enlightenment. There could be sacrificing. Let me see. Blockage. Ten of Swords represents enlightenment. It's a time. It is a timely now to accept your illusions for what they are, illusions. We talked about that Neptune. Neptune represents illusions, okay? But there could be a change of heart. Be ready to face for what's new, because it does represent an end and a new beginning. The book that I was using is the Tarot Bible here. So we have that for Cancer season. Let me pull another card. We have the King of Machetes. This is very interesting. So while people are saying negative things or the words are being negative, there is this clarity. There is this truth. There is this honesty, intelligence, clarity, intelligence. Is that the same thing? A lot of research, a lot of higher learning there too. I love the King of Machetes because they're very logical and they can analyze things, kind of energy. So understanding, too, is what you get with the King of Machetes. All right. So that is what we have for Cancer season. I hope you guys enjoyed. I should have pulled it this way. I hope you guys enjoyed. And what I keep saying, I'm going to do I need to do my eclipse video. That's coming up. I need to explain the North Nodes. I need to talk about the eclipse in Leo and Aquarius coming up and how that's going to affect Trump. But that is what we have. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye.